What's up? What's up? For some reason, my phone has these effects, like my face and stuff. I didn't set it that way. It's how it is naturally. That's how my phone look when I when I shoot videos. I guess it glows me up or something. But you know, as long as it makes me look good, I guess there's nothing to complain about. So check me out. For all the people out there that go on YouTube and look for financial advice and stuff, just remember, a lot of these people on YouTube, number one, they're giving you financial advice that they themselves don't practice. A lot of them just faking the funk. A lot of them broke. And then it's either that's like 80% of them. You know, 80% of them don't really live what they practice. They're giving you money advice, but their ass is broke. So that's what it is. And then 20% are people who have more money than you, and you thinking, oh, he has more money than me, so he must know how to help me. He must know what he's talking about, or her. And it might seem that way on the surface, but actually those people are not struggling. They're not going through the same thing you are. So really, they're gonna give you advice that might actually not be applicable to you, and it might be out of context. So a person telling you to invest, you're thinking, oh, this person got money, they know what they're talking about. And this person saying, oh, just buy a bunch of crypto, buy this, buy that, invest in this, invest in that. But you're in debt, like you're in debt to the point where, you pay your rent and you buy groceries and all that money, and then you're in debt. Like your debt is more than the money you make. You should not be investing in anything, really. You should just focus on paying off your debt. But somebody might say, oh, fuck the debt, just focus on this and that. Or somebody will say, oh, just get an Uber, go drive Uber, or oh, go get a second job. But your job might have some kind of schedule where you're actually not able to get a second job. So people don't really know your struggles, and people are going to dismiss your struggles as excuse and this and that. When you say you don't have time, whenever you say that you don't have time for something, automatically people are like, oh, it's an excuse. Oh, you're just making an excuse. If there's a will, there's a way. Like, people will say things without context. They don't understand your actual struggle, what you're actually going through. People don't understand that. And either they're gonna bullshit you, give you advice that they don't practice, or they're such in a different level that it's not even relatable. They'll tell you something that sounds good and sounds sound, but is not contextually applicable to your life. Some of them will even try to belittle you, like, oh, why did you get in debt? Don't get in debt no more, whatever. People don't understand what you're going through. So I would say there's really no way out of this except to just listen to different views and connect with the ones that are closest to you. Connect with the ones that are closest to your situation, and then tweak it to your situation. For example, I was like putting the money in the markets and this and that, but I was in debt, and I was just like ignoring the debt so I could put more money in the markets, and then with the profits from my trades, I could pay the debt. But it got to a point where it got out of control. So I realize now that it's better for me to actually focus on paying down my debt and then invest in the market. But somebody else, that's listening to this, they'll disagree with me, So either advice is good. You can say, you know what, I'm gonna postpone paying my debt so I can focus on my trading and then grow my account to the point where the profits pay my debt for me. which is what businesses do. Businesses, they get in debt and they use the debt to make money, and then with the money that they earn, the profits, or the revenue, they pay their debts, right? So that's what businesses do. And I was thinking the same thing. You know, I get myself in debt so I can fund my business, and then I pay my debt. But my trading was not at a level where that would work in a smooth way. And actually, you know, my trading now, the way I trade now, I'm a better trader than I was a year ago. So I had the right idea in mind, but it was the wrong context, and it was at the wrong time. So that's the thing. You listen to financial advice and they sound good, but the timing might be wrong, and the advice might not be contextually applicable to you. So really, you have to, you know, life is a game. You know, life is not easy. Life can be easier, but life is not 100% easy. You know, you can make it easy, but it takes work to get there. So one of the challenges in life is, like, when you hear advice, for you to have the discernment to know if the advice is actually applicable to you, and if it's contextually harmonious to the path that you're at in life, you know, and the rhythm that you're at in life. So being successful in life has a lot to do with being in rhythm, you know, being in tune with different things, you know, being able to dance, metaphorically speaking, being able to dance in life, you know, for you to adapt and be fluid. Those are really the things that are going to make you successful, is if you're adaptable to changes, and changes are always happening. Life is a constant state of movement, and the other word for movement is change. Change is a constant thing in life. So the better you are at adapting to change, and by adapting, it's not just going along with the change, but actually making it work for you to where it benefits you. You know, that's really what's going to make you successful in life. Otherwise, you're going to be in the same spot and be comfortable and just be in the same situation, you know, year in and year out, which is what most people do. So in this context, it really means, like, listen to financial advice, but have the discernment to know if whatever it is that you're dealing with is actually contextually applicable to you, and if the timing is correct. So the advice was good. Yeah, get myself in debt so I can fund my business, and then with the earnings that I make from my business, my trading business, I pay off my debt. That was a sound advice, but it was a wrong timing because my skill set was not at that level. And it would be the better advice would have been for me to focus on paying down my debt while honing my trading skills, and then, you know, and then gradually build my trading capital without having to get in debt. So I was better off paying off existing debt and then using my own capital to gradually build my trading account, or pay down my debt, honing my trading skill to the level that it's at now, and then get myself in debt and pay off my debts, you know. So, but I wouldn't have known that because I thought that my trading, I really believe in myself, and I thought I was confident that the trading skills that I had a year ago was enough for me to take on this task. But I was wrong, you know. The only reason I know I'm wrong is because of the trading skills that I have now, you know. So I wouldn't have known unless I tried. And that's the other thing in life. You don't know something until you try it. So you can listen to advice. The advice might sound good and everything, but you know, the best thing to do really is to just follow, you know, if connect, see if it connects to you, see if it's applicable to you, if it's relevant to your life. Make sure that the timing is correct and that it's contextually applicable to your life, and then go for it. And guess what? It might not work. So that's the game of life. You know, life is not a 100% win rate. You know, life is more like a 60% win rate. And having a 60% win rate is actually successful. So the key is to increase that win rate slowly but surely. And really, you only accomplish that through discipline. You know, figure out the things that you should do on a daily basis and do them, and avoid the things that you shouldn't do. And that will probably consist of like a 10% to a 20% win rate. That will probably increase your win rate by, you know, anywhere from 10 to like 30%. So if you have a 60% win rate in life, 10 to 30% of that is the foundation, and the foundation is the daily habits that you do, and the things that you don't do. Actually, it might be like 40% of that 60% win rate. About 40% are the things that you do on a daily basis and the things that you don't do on a daily basis. And then the remainder is like big decisions that you make and big victories that you accomplish. You know, things, milestones that you reach in life that increase your standards. You know, it increase your minimum, your baseline. So that 20%, you know, like you was making 40K a year, now you're making 100K a year. So 40% of that is, you know, the things that you're doing on a daily basis and not doing. And then the 20% is actually accomplishing those earnings. So now you're making 100K a year. You have a different lifestyle than you did when you was making 40, you know? So, and the 30 to 40% losing rate is based on, you know, hopefully things you can't control. You don't want to lose on the things that you can control. You want to keep that to a minimum. The things that you can't control, like emergencies or whatever, you know. So really, like, strive to get a 80 to a 90% win rate, because it's never 100. There's always going to be an inconvenience. There's always going to be you're going to have to deal with other people and their personalities and beliefs, and they might give you a bad day or some kind of misunderstanding. You know, life is not a smooth ride. You know, there's many factors in play, but you want to keep it to where the only problems you have really are the ones that you don't have power over, you know. So you know what I mean? Everything else, it should be anything that is in your control. You should do the best that you can to be in control of them, you know. So that means that you're doing the right things every day. You're avoiding doing the wrong things every day. So 10% or 25% of that is doing the things that you're supposed to do. 25% is not doing the things that you're not supposed to do. 25% are recovering from the bad decisions you made. For example, I got myself in debt. Now I had to fix that. And then 25% of that is actually making changes, you know, coming up with new things, being creative. So it's the 4 laws. So you can listen to advice on the internet, but really you have to cover your bases. Somebody can give you advice on how to be better financially, but you have to cover all your bases, and that's the context that they're not giving you. You have to cover your whole, like, you have to cover your whole structure. You gotta make sure the entire ecosystem is healthy. You can implement something, but you're not gonna do it correctly. You're gonna mess up somewhere else. It's gonna be in the wrong time. It's gonna be the wrong context. So honestly, before you make any modifications in your life, even if it sounds good, like I said, like I've been saying this whole video, you gotta make sure that the timing is right. Gotta make sure that it is contextually applicable to your life. And to make things applicable to your life, you gotta make sure that, you know, you gotta scan the entire ecosystem. Like Sun Tzu say, like the Art of War says, you gotta know the environment. Your life is your environment. Your life is your ecosystem. The ecosystem is the environment. You gotta know the environment, and you gotta explore it. You gotta do an inventory. You gotta do a lot of things. Therefore, by doing the things that you're supposed to do, eating right, exercising, sleeping properly, having time management, being grateful, keeping a positive mind state, being intelligent, being well read, just doing the right things, you know, getting a good amount of silent sunlight, getting vitamins, small and large, all the things that you're supposed to do every day, that'll keep the engine running, that'll keep the engine from breaking down, etc. And then the things that you're not supposed to do, you know, don't watch porn, don't smoke, don't drink alcohol and get drunk, don't eat junk food, don't complain all the time, don't be ungrateful, don't turn your back on God, don't be rebellious towards God. You know, just doing both of those things is that's gonna add a 50% win rate on top of whatever, you know, whatever it is gonna boost your life for the better by 50%, just by doing that, just by doing those things, you know, probably even more percentage wise. So when you hear financial advice, it's more applicable to you if you have those things covered. And then, you know, the other 25% are fixing the things that you messed up on, you know, before you learn the right things to do, before learning what not to do, before before learning what not to do, and then, you know, breaking yourself from the bondage of not doing what you're not supposed to do. If you're addicted to, you know, anything you're addicted to is probably not good, right? If you're addicted to porn, that's not good. If you're addicted to alcohol, it's not good. If you're addicted to smoking, it's not good. If you're addicted to being promiscuous and having sex with different people, that's not good. A lot of things that, you know, pretty much everything that you're addicted to is probably not a good thing. So by not doing those things, you know, by fixing your life, by liberating yourself from those things, that's gonna add another 25% win rate, you know, and basically a recovery state. And sometimes if you hear advice on the internet, the timing might be wrong and the context might be wrong because you're in a recovery state. You're trying to recover from something else, or you're trying to recover from the very thing that is keeping you from making that advice applicable to you. You feel me? So you know, you got to take that into consideration. So for you to even be able to recover successfully from the things that was holding you down and the things that you're in bondage to, you got to have the step 1 and step 2 covered. Doing the right things every day, not doing the wrong things every day, and recovering from the bad things that you've done, that you're, you know, suffering from the consequences of. And then the final step is making decisions that are gonna boost your win rate. You know, so I was trading Forex, then I learned how to trade futures. By learning how to trade futures, I boosted my future, you know. I boosted a win rate of my future. So if I recover from the things that was holding me down, and I do the things that I'm supposed to do every day, and I don't do the things I'm not supposed to do every day, you know, I'm gonna have a really high win rate, 80 to 90%, to the point where the only things that can stop me are the things I have no control of, and those things I put in God's hands. I give God I could depend on God completely to look out for me for the things that I cannot control. Meanwhile, the things that I can control, I have a greater responsibility to be efficient at and make the right decisions at. And really, by following God, you'll accomplish that. You'll have the ability and the strength to do those things. So really, to boost your win rate in life, 25% of it is doing the things that you're supposed to do every day. 25% is doing the things not doing the things that you're not supposed to do every day. Recovering from your mistakes and learning from them, and then making investments, making moves that are gonna boost your win rate for the future. That's really pretty much that covers it. Like I said, any advice you hear online, understand that, you know, you might get hyped because it sounds good, but you have to really consider if the timing is correct for you to apply that advice. You know, you got to make sure you got to know if the advice is good to begin with. You know, is the advice good to begin with? Just because it sounds good doesn't mean it is. Is it actually good? And if it is good, is it applicable to my life? And if it is applicable to my life, is it the right timing? You know, and the things that will depend on that, the things that will determine those things really are, you know, what's your recovery state like right now in your life? How are you coping with the things you're trying to recover from? Are you doing the right things you're supposed to do every day? And are you avoiding the things you're not supposed to do every day? And are you making moves that are going to boost your win rate for the future? All right. So let me know how you guys feel. If I got any views at all, you know, just let me know. Share your thoughts.